Howdy, friends. Apologies. It's pretty dark, but I'm in the truck in a parking lot at night, and so I ain't got a lot of light. But I wanted to talk about a concept I came up with a long time ago. I call it the white belt, life, friends, and I'm going to explain what that means. And so I want y'all to think about scuba divers, think about free divers. Um, do you know this white belt that they have in order to be able to dive, to reduce the buoyancy and go down in the water, made out of lead or something heavy. Um, so I utilize that um, analogy to refer to the weight belt of life. Um, when you're born poor, you're born to a poor family. Um, it's interesting, but it's like no matter how hard you try in life to get ahead, to do well, to do better than your parents, even if you're smart, even if you play your cards right, even if you actually end up doing better than them, there is something that I can't put my finger on, and that's what I call the weight belt. Um, it feels like, friends, when you're born to a poor family, or maybe your parents are not that intelligent or that smart, they don't have assets, they have nothing to give you, not even a fucking, not even a cheap car, you know, when you go to college or whatever, when you're a teenager. And so you grow up and you realize that they don't tell you, but it's like, well, boy, there is a world for you. Go to school, get a job, go in the military, go in a corporation, do whatever, but, you know, get a job and pay for your living and do your best. Unlike, these children that they're born to either wealthy or smart parents, and they have already something to start with, friends. I mean, even just a car, okay? Um, Something to start life. That something is a huge help. Let alone if you already have land and your children can live there for free or for very little money. They don't have to pay rent. They don't have a mortgage. That's huge. I mean, they have to still get a job and pay for their living and this and that. But, I mean, they are already way ahead of you, the one with the weight belt. Um, and it feels like that in life, friends, that when you're born to poverty, either poverty or stupidity, um, lack of knowledge, whatever it is, it feels like your entire life is about staying afloat, keeping your head above the water, friends, with the weight belt. And so when you're born poor, um, it feels that you're spending your whole life, trying to stay afloat. But that weight belt, French, is dragging you down. That weight belt, French, is heavy. And eventually, you're going to give out. You're going to run out of energy. Um, and you're going to sink. And you're going to drown. Um, I like to refer to this movie, uh, Hell or High Water, I think it's called, written by Taylor Sheridan, if I'm not mistaken. Taylor can fucking write. But anyway, in that movie, one of the bank robbers, they're two brothers that they're poor. They're from West Texas, and they're robbing banks in order to get some money and buy their land or whatever. Well, at the end of that movie, the ending scene is the youngest of the brothers, the bank robber, having a chat with a Texas Ranger that failed to put him in jail for robbing banks and killing his Texas Ranger friend. Anyway, the younger guy, the bank robber, tells it, the old Texas Ranger, I've been poor my whole life. And my parents were poor, and their parents were poor. Being poor is like a disease. And I think he fucking nailed it when he said that. He fucking nailed it, friends. And I am referring to the same type of thing when I talk about the weight belt. You're born with it, and it doesn't matter how smart you might be, way smarter than your parents. It doesn't even matter if you actually end up doing better than them, but it's like it's in your DNA. If you know what I'm getting to, it's in your DNA to be poor, and so more than likely, even if you do well, you have a car, you have a mortgage, a house, or whatever, a job, you won't have land or a company or a lot of knowledge, or you won't have any of that to pass on to your kids. I mean, you might be able to provide a better living for them than your parents did, but at the end of the day, what do you have? You have a car, you have a fucking mortgage, Your children probably won't want to live there when you die and they inherit that place. They're gonna want to sell it and split it, and split the money they got for it, for selling it after your death. And so yeah, and you have a job, like you can't pass on to your kids a fucking job. You can't do that. I mean, maybe in some jobs, but that's really rare. I mean, once you die, once you retire, your children, they're gonna have to find their own way. And so this is what I fucking mean, friends. I am trying. I mean, and I've seen it, and it's impossible to create something, not just an empire. I mean, not even that, a legacy. It feels impossible, and so that's what I'm trying to get to, friends. If Daddy ain't got no land,